When the London Transport Museum relaunched, having invested £22 million in the refit, they decided that they wanted an interactive experience to complement their new reel experience, and they turned to ISO design production. They produced all of the interactive animation and film installations, which includes films, live action reconstructions, an immersive design gallery, live data displays, and a number of microsites for the different collections. And more locally in Hamilton, family-run business run by the Keg family decided that, having been successful the last 40 years in an offline model, they wanted to look at new ways of taking their products to a larger worldwide audience, and started to work with Indes. Toolshop now has an 8-figure turnover and is the biggest distributor of Bosch drills to Germany, which I think is quite cool. And I know that Pete Moworth of Indes is talking later, so I'm sure Pete will tell you a lot more about that. And finally, this is a social enterprise, so it's a company that's not driven by generating profit. But Wise Property Care were finding that they were having difficulty explaining to their potential customers why you need to deal with problems like dry rot, wet rot, or infestations of woodworm, etc. So they turned to Screen Media, who developed 20 videos and animated demos which showed not only what the impact was of some of these infestations or rot problems, but how the Wise Property Care Group could help address those. The result of that is much more traffic being driven to the site, people spending considerably longer on the site, understanding the services and products that Wise Property Care can provide, and buying more of their services. So, I mean, if you're not a digital media company, I hope you've seen here some of the applications and some of the ways that technology can help your business. It's not simply about having a swanky interface with customers. It's much more about driving new business models, cutting costs, bringing additional value to your customers, and it can, in some cases, actually transform the way that you do business. So how can SE help? Well, through our direct support, or through Interactive Scotland support, which is fully funded by Scottish Enterprise Organisation targeted to digital media companies, and with our sister organisation SDI, we can support with things like strategy workshops. That's taking the chief executive of your organisation and the senior team. We need that level of buy-in because it's about your strategy. So having your sort of middle management or lower management teams is important, but without the senior buy-in, we won't get the strategy worked through. And it's really looking at what are the big growth opportunities for your company and what are the barriers to realising that opportunity. The feedback that we get from the companies we work with is one of the big values is just taking the time out of running a business day to day to think about those big opportunities and values, and having alongside you a critical friend, someone who can challenge some of the things that you're talking about, or perhaps add some new ideas or approaches. We work very closely with the Chamber, the Business Gateway, and through the Chamber and their trade support, and SDI, we can look at new markets for you, new physical geographical markets. There's loads of opportunities internationally. You've heard about Toolshop now selling Bosch power tools back into Germany. We have examples of companies who are working with customers from around the world, from very small premises and with very small stock in hand. We can help you find new applications for your technologies, looking at new ways to use your technology to deliver different solutions for different kinds of customers. Tag Games was very much just about developing games which are sold on either online or through publishers. They're now providing solutions for people like Virgin. We have high growth startup program. If you just started your business and you think it's going to generate up to £5 million turnover within 5 years, we'll bring some very intensive support to you to help realise those ambitions. I talked earlier about one of the structural issues in the Scottish economy, and that is we're not great at starting companies, and we're not really good at sustaining companies either. So to try and address that, we're looking at some very concentrated support for companies in the early days, particularly those with the ambition and the capacity to grow quickly. We'll also help you to review your business model, looking at how you reach your customers, whether or not some of the technology that's out there can be used to cross-sell or to upsell for your customers, how to access new customers, and how to remodel how you deliver your business. We can also look at support for financing, access to venture capitalists, access to the angel networks, access to banks. And with grant support, there's a multitude of support systems out there, RSA, SMART, SPUR, R&D. They're all complex. We understand them, and we can advise you which ones are most appropriate to your business. And we also, through Interactive Scotland and through the Global Scot Network, we've access to an international network of companies and people. Global Scot Network is very much about people who have lived, worked or done business in Scotland and want to give something back. There's over 900 people, vast majority of whom are based overseas, who've said, we want to help Scottish businesses and the Scottish economy. Tell us how we can do that. Matching that offer of support with demand for support is something that's proving quite challenging, and something that we're increasingly using technology to address through LinkedIn and access to the Global Scot website. Beyond that, as an organisation, Scottish Enterprise is putting a lot more resource online. Lots of advice packages, analytical tools are available through se.com. SDI.com also has lots of information about our overseas offices, how you can contact them, who you should be talking to, and as I say, much more interactively through Global Scot and LinkedIn. We're trying to take this fantastic resource that is Global Scot and plug it into the companies that need it. So in summary, we're supporting the growth of the digital media industry in Scotland in a number of ways, through investing in physical infrastructure, working at an industry level. Part of my day job as Financial Services Director, we're working with financial services companies to introduce them to technology companies in Scotland. That's all kinds of technology, but digital media is obviously very important to them, to see if there's new ways that they can be working together. We work with individual digital media companies to help them grow their business and support that growth ambition, making them more competitive. And we work with non-digital media companies to help them understand how digital media content and solutions can make their businesses more efficient and competitive. We don't have all the answers. We know we don't have all the answers. We do have a wide range of support. And we absolutely recognise the potential of this industry, and more importantly, the strengths that we already have in Scotland. We're absolutely committed to working with you and working with partners to realise that ambition. Thanks very much for your time.